Hey everybody, welcome to your weekend review for the week of Monday, February 6th, 2023, and oh, what a week it was. Week started off rough. MBS were off 63 basis points on Monday. Market still reacting to Friday's giant jobs miss. Have broken through three floors bright and early in the morning. Also got tougher talk from Bank of England and European Central Bank that the risk of doing too little for inflation was worse than the risk of doing too much. People are hoping for guidance out of Powell's speech on Tuesday. Strong jobs report caused the more hawkish move to the Fed futures. The March meeting is a lock for another 25 basis points and a 73% chance of another 25 in May. Before the jobs report, investors saw only a 40% chance of another hike sometime this year. That said, December futures see rates at the end of the year being 4.75% to 5%, which is 25 basis points higher than here. However, that seems too low to me. Most of today's market movement was in the books within the first hour of domestic trading. Long story short, global markets are suddenly scared of what Powell may say on Tuesday's Q&A at a previously scheduled appearance. Anxiety was and is amplified by the presence of a new round of 3, 10, and 30-year Treasury auctions this week, and a whole slew of corporate bond issuance added to the supply side of the bond market and the equation for the week. At the end of the day on Monday, we were down 52 basis points, ending up at 100.84, which is well below that Fibonacci 38% retracement line at 101.67, and it is even below those two floors at 101.26. So we broke through all three of those floors, and actually for a brief time went through that 50% Fibonacci retracement, which is the black line. We also got big news in the industry that Rocket is arming brokers with its Bully Shield versus United Wholesale Mortgage. So Rocket Pro TPO has said that they will actually pay the legal bills for those that want to violate the ultimatum that came down a while back from United Wholesale Mortgage about not being able to use Rocket and UWM. Earnings this week are scheduled to include a lot of companies: Apollo Global Management, AstraZeneca, BNP Paribas, Duke Energy, KKR, Nintendo, Walt Disney, Unilever, Uber, Toyota. Lots and lots of earnings coming down the pipe. MBS were down 5 basis points on the open. The bond market movement has been sideways in the overnight session, with some early selling in the U.S. partially in response to comments from Fed's Kashkari, who offers a bit of a window into the potential thinking of Powell. In short, the Fed is not done hiking rates yet, is what he more or less said. Rates are on the higher side of our range, but we could see bad news coming if we get a strong reaction to anything Fed Chair Powell says during today's speech. The affordability metric is the monthly mortgage payment as a percentage of income. It's above levels we saw during the bubble years in comparison to levels last seen in the early 1980s when inflation was awful, when the Fed took the Fed funds rate into the teens to whip the 1970s inflation. For much anticipation and defensive positioning, the bond market was fully able to hear from Powell in a less formal setting this afternoon, and more importantly, after last week's jobs report. The initial reaction was positive. Powell said that while the jobs report was great, it wouldn't have changed anything in his view. This was worth a reaction rally, but not a sustained move. It's just kind of a bump because of what he said. If yields aren't falling, they're rising. So they move back up on the day. Fortunately, the weakness isn't too onerous. At the end of the day, we're up 5 basis points on the day at 100.89, which puts us underneath that Fibonacci retracement line. So it puts us above those two floors of being the 25-day moving average and the 50-day moving average. And then we're back underneath that 101.671 Fibonacci line. We also got a post from our sponsor at WellThatMakesSense.com, our Jocko Monday to get you fired up for the year. There's one instinct that you must always be wary of, one you must fight. This one is a liar. This is your saboteur. This is the one that's telling you, like the devil himself, he's a shapeshifter and he'll trick you into thinking you can't do things. And you must be on guard and you must fight that feeling.